Hi guys, it's Heather with Property Sisters. Welcome to episode 1 of Table Talk Tuesday. Today's topic, we are going deep and vulnerable. It's going to be about divorce. Our guest today is our BFF and newly divorcee, Melinda.
Thanks so much for having me, you guys. I'm happy to be here and to try to be vulnerable and talk about situations that are tough and maybe even help someone out there. And it's a nice thing for me to get to talk to you guys because you're powerful women and I like being around you. So thanks for having me.
As I'm sure you know, I'm Rachel. I'm excited about today's Table Talk Tuesday. I recently just went through a really tough divorce, and I think having people around you that have been through it, know what you're going through, it's a huge comfort to me, at least, knowing that these girls have been through it and they're stronger than ever. So it's nice talking to you.
I think when I started going through my divorce, the most important part of the process was knowing you'll get through it. And to have that support of friends and family is key, and to know that you're okay, you're not going to get judged. The divorce rate's super high. In a weird way, there's comfort in knowing that. Especially in the culture that we're raised in Utah, it's frowned upon. But to have that support from family and friends and to know that they have your back and your kids are going to be okay. Yeah, it's rough, but you have to live authentic. And if something's, not going right, I don't want my kids to see an unhealthy relationship. And I don't want them to think that what's unhealthy is okay.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. I think in my personal experience, my kids were witnessing a lot of unhealthy things, and at some point you have to do it for your kids. If you're not happy, they're not going to be, and you have to find that happiness in yourself for them to grow up in a happy environment.
Thinking about your kids is one of the things that is, as a mom especially, is the thing that terrifies you and paralyzes you and makes it hard for you to think clearly about, thinking about, okay, this will be hard for a while, but I'm going to be okay in the long run. It will be better for them and definitely for us. And I think as a mom, you need to remember that you matter too.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't want your kids as an adult to be unhappy and settling for something that, wasn't going to change and they couldn't get happiness out of. And so you have to remember that, and you want that for them too. And also, I think the fear of people judging you, like you said, and the fallout of family and friends that don't understand is something that was terrifying to me, and it was a reality. Like you people fall away, and I'm really glad to know, and I wish that someone would have told me sooner, people also come up in your life for a reason, and they fill those holes that maybe were supposed to be gone anyways. And so, you guys definitely did that for me. I reached out to you, Heather, and I just kept thinking about you, and I think if you follow that intuition, it's hard to remember your tuition can be on when you're in something unhealthy or you're not happy for a long time, but it really helps to listen to that and to be strong and reach out to that. And when you feel weak moments, because I call them the you can't breathe moments, it's nice to have someone that you can reach out to and remember it's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. You're doing the right thing. It's going to be, your kids are going to be okay. Mm-hmm. You can do this.
Right. So I just want to emphasize what Melinda was saying. You pay attention to who comes running to you when you're going through a struggle.
Any hard time.
Yeah, any hard time. Who in your circle, it can be big or small, who in that circle is coming running towards you and who's running away.
I love that. Mm-hmm.
And I had a good friend that gave me that advice. And I think a lot of people are confused and they don't know if they have to take sides with divorce. There doesn't need to be anyone taking sides, but I think a lot of people feel like they do. And so you do lose a lot of people in your circle. And just like Melinda said, then you also meet new people. And I think you attract, I believe in energy, and I think you attract what you're putting out. And if you are attracting that you need that support with other women going through that transition, that's what happens.
Yep.
And me and Melinda hadn't talked for years, and for her to reach out and have that thought of, I know Heather's gone through this, I'm gonna reach out to her. I mean, she's helped me just as much as I've helped her, like the advice that she's given me. And I think just to feed off each other's energy is priceless.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it was really hard, at least for me, going from being a stay-at-home mom, having that financial support to now just relying on yourself. And we started real estate, I don't know, probably 6 months or so before I started going through my divorce process, and it really was a blessing in disguise. I obviously didn't know it was coming, but I think knowing that you can do anything that you put your mind to, knowing that you can support yourself and your kids, like that's a huge deal, you know?
Me and Rachel always say to each other, we have no other choice than to succeed. There's no choice. There's no plan B. This is it. Plan A. And so I think feeding off of each other's energy and friends and your new life, it gives you a drive. I look at my 4 kids and they're dependent on me. I have 3 daughters, and to know that, hey, mom did this, I always give it my especially my girls advice that be financially stable, because you don't want to depend financially on a man, because when you get in that situation, I think that's what's terrifying, is not knowing that you'll be okay. And what if you're not? What if I'm homeless? What if, and I worried so much about the what ifs and the future, and it never came. So I think another big part is to realize, let's worry about the now. And that's why I love Jay Shetty. Look him up if you don't know who he is. He's incredible. He always talks about being the now, you know, and don't project all this negativity, because what you project into the universe, it comes back. So if you are projecting negativity and your bank account getting smaller, guess what's going to happen? Your bank account's going to get smaller. And I really learned and took a lot of time to self-reflect and be like, no, I'm a badass. Like, I have this, and I'm so driven, and I love what I do, and I've never felt more right than to get into real estate.
You know, Heather, when you were saying about your kids being like an inspiration, that really struck a chord with me. There's a thing that I've pinned that I save and look at often that says, you know, I've thought about failing or quitting, but then I remembered who was watching me. And that's something that I think, you know, I'll tell my kids, you can't give up. Don't be afraid of hard things. You can do hard things. You know, you're braver than you feel, stronger than you think. You know, it's just one of those things that I've really had to learn to practice what I preach, because you want them to have those things. But again, you have to remember that you're someone too. And you'll have things that you fall on your face from. And like you would tell your kid or someone you love, your best friend, it's okay. You're going to be okay. Get back up. You learned from it. And I feel like I have fallen on my face a lot in the last year. My divorce is very recent. But I do feel like, looking back, I want to make sure I make a conscious decision to stay positive. And so I look back at the last year, and it's been hard. The hardest of my life, bar none. But sure. I do see things that led me to this point that I'm going to be okay. And I want to say I'm going to be okay, even though I think I'm not going to be okay a lot of times. And I say that to people, but I am going to be okay. And it's nice to, if you do look, I do think that, you know, whatever you believe, there's things that are led to help you succeed and get along. Little breadcrumbs that I look back that I'm so grateful for. And I have to, if you think about those things and try to stay positive and look for more of those things, I guarantee you'll see them, because I am the most overanalyzing, terrified person of change and things like that. But doing this, I've seen, and if you look for those things, if you look for the bad, you're going to see the bad. But if you look for the good and you look for the good people, you will find those good people, and you'll also realize you are going to be okay. So
Totally.
It's heavy stuff, man.
I know, it is heavy stuff. I think the reason we really wanted to do this video is to whoever's out there that's going through this that might feel alone. I'm going to get emotional talking about it. Just know that you're not alone. We've all gone through it really recently. I mean, it's brand new for Melinda and I. Heather, it's only been a few years. Know that you're not alone. Feel like you can reach out to us. It's a very lonely feeling. I feel like I've just now come out of the darkness a little bit. I feel like my life is finally getting better. I don't feel like I'm alone every day. I know that I have a support system. And just knowing, I think the unknown is really the scariest part. Not knowing where you're going to live, not knowing if you were a stay-at-home mom where your money's going to come from.
Exactly.
If you're going through it, please reach out to us. Know that you're not alone.
I want to just add what Rachel was saying. you know, key is so many people have gone through this. It's people going through it right now. Like, I think if I would have had a support system that I do now, I would have probably, I don't want to bag on my ex at all, but I probably would have done it years ago. The fear of financially was disabling for me. I couldn't even imagine that I'd be okay. So to gain that confidence that I needed to make that next step, and I think things happen for a reason. I do. We just want you guys to know, like, those women out there that are in that phase or thinking about it, like, reach out. We would love to get together and give you that support that you need, that support system, and to know that next transition, you're going to be okay. I think with real estate and with money, we want to help those people going from that next phase of living with their spouse and having their kids together all the time. And then if they go separate ways, that we've been there, we've done that, and we can help you with that. You have enough on your plate with the divorce that we can help that next phase, that next chapter in your life. And I think that helps a ton to have that support system. And like I said, our clients are our friends, and we love our clients. So please reach out.
You know, it's funny because how we hadn't talked for a long time.
Right.
And then when I reached out to you, it was for when I was thinking of selling my house. You know, I had
Right.
built my dream house, designed it, you know, done my first real project as a designer, which was so exciting and fun. And now I'm finding myself selling it, and it can be kind of painful, but it's so nice to have the support from you guys because you've been there and done that. And I don't feel like I'm alone. You know, it's one of those things, like you say, it was kind of meant to be, I think, you know, to have your help in finding my next step of where I'm going to go. Because you guys get it. You know the fears, you know, the concerns about kids and schools and
Right.
all those things I have. It's really nice to know that in my next step, wherever I land, because I don't know yet,
Right.
that it'll be okay, and that I have your guys' help is nice. And it'll be a fun process rather than potentially kind of painful. I think it's fun because we do want to laugh all the time.
Yeah, and you feed off
So,
each other's energy.
Yeah, we can be silly
Yeah.
and have fun and be serious
Exactly.
all at the same time.
Yeah, thanks again, Melinda, for joining us. I have a feeling this is the first of many you'll be joining us with.
Absolutely, for sure.
We'll try to do these Table Talk Tuesdays at least a few times a month. If you have any topics that you'd like us to cover, it doesn't need to be about real estate. Any hard, vulnerable topics, we would love to talk about them.
Even fun stuff.
Yes, fun stuff, anything. And if you are interested in Melinda's amazing design, we'll post her link below this video.
Woo!
Thank you.